even hear him September, and he talking like like this happened years ago. And he done got himself together. Like that's
That's
real talk. That's amazing.
that's literally only God can give you that type of energy to be able to only move in love. Like he can't walk. You see what I'm saying? Like he can't walk at all. But he will be able to walk. I guarantee you that. Because of his faith in the Lord, he will be able to walk. I'm gonna give probably like a couple more minutes to see if some people gonna get back on. And if not, we'll continue the conversation. I'm gonna ask you guys some questions. Okay, yeah, we'll go ahead. But yeah, like if you were listening, right? Because my cousin said I'm speechless. I'm still kind of speechless, even though I heard his story before. And it's like literally only divine energy, only putting your faith and your energy in the Lord will be able to give you that outcome. Like I said, everybody on this call can walk. Everybody on this call can run. You see what I'm saying? But if I like I said, I'm still kind of speechless. I can't imagine being in that situation and having that much optimism like 4 months later. Like, and I'm pretty sure he's been like that probably for the past 2 or 3 months, right? That's only energy that you can get from God, right? He doesn't sound exhausted, right? He sounds like he has more energy than he ever has. He doesn't sound like he's being pulled from. He doesn't sound like there's something pulling at him. He doesn't wake up and be like, well, I can't walk, so I'm gonna just sit here anyways. He said, man, I can't walk, but I want to walk. So God, you're going to have to give me the strength. God, you're going to have to give me the peace. God, you're going to have to give me everything that I need because I already know how powerful you are. I could have died. You heard him. He said God gave him that breath. He asked God to help him and God gave him breath. Man, that's crazy to me, bro. That is real. That is crazy to me. And I just wanted him to get on the call. Look, what coach say? I'm gonna read it off to you guys. My coach from back in high school. When Jesus was healing people, the belief back then was you were disabled or bad things happened due to your sins. When he healed a blind man, one of the disciples asked, who sinned, this man or his parents? Yep. Jesus replied, it is no one. It was no one. That God gives us these things for his glory. All things we consider bad. He ain't, you know what I'm saying? He got it, and I want to put this in the best way possible. He's in that situation so that God can get the glory. Just imagine he may have went his whole life only giving God this much glory. But for God to get the most glory out of each of our lives, he places things in our lives. He places storms in our lives so that he can get the most glory out of everything. Just imagine going a storm every day in your life and not giving God more glory. Right? So now it looks like a cycle. Now it looks like you're stuck in something because every time you go through something, you give God less and less glory. But in his situation, he gives God more and more and more glory. How do you give more without divine energy? How do you give more without love? How do you give more without peace? How do you give more without joy? Right? And that's kind of what the message is today. And man, like I said, I'm still kind of speechless by this, man. So I have some questions for you guys so that we can continue the conversation. Oh yeah, yeah. I have some questions for you guys so we can continue the conversation. Anybody can answer these. Honestly, if you have anything that you want to say, anything that you want to share, you can raise your hand or put something in the chat, and then we can be able to read off like that, so we can be able to kind of get it to flow smoothly. So these are the questions that I ask myself, honestly. So how aware are you of your exhaustion of energy? How exhausted do you think you are? Right? How much energy do you think that you have? How much energy do you think that you're putting in the wrong place? Right? That's the first question.
Yeah.
The second question is, oh, you were gonna answer? Go ahead, Caleb.
What's up? Hey.
Actually, I'm gonna paste the questions in the chat so that it will be easier for everyone to read them. Okay, the second question is, do you believe that negative energy is the root of emotional instability and why? The third question is, do you believe that you've ever had divine motivation continuously and not just for a short period of time? Right. So if anybody wants to answer
Oh, but
those,
what the eggs at?
yeah, so if anybody wants to answer those questions or want to be able to share something or share a testimony or anything, go ahead. The floor is yours. Let's just try to keep it a little organized. So somebody put their hand up or somebody let me know that they want to talk or anything like that. Go ahead, Karen.
One of your questions was, do you believe that negative energy is a root of emotional instability, and why? I would like to speak a little bit on this because this is a big topic for me. I'm a pretty emotional person. Most of the people on this call are my family, so y'all know I'm a pretty emotional person when it gets to that point. But just as far as like we talked about last week with like killing the discouragement and stuff like that, I found out with a lot of things in my life that not on purpose, but once something upset me or once something put me in a place where I felt like I was upset or I felt like I was mad or angry or something like that, my mind completely went to all the other things in the day that made me upset, all the other things in the day or during the week that made me feel this way. So now, because one thing happened on one day, I feel 7 different things. So personally, I do feel like that is a pretty it is the root, of instability, because you could even feel that way and it only takes one good thought
Yep.
to make you happy, right?
Yep.
But once you start to fill yourself with all those negative thoughts, then you're unstable because you were happy, but now you're mad because all the things that happened the week before made you upset again. And I feel like this has a tad bit of a correlation. Like I realized also, once something happens during the day and I say to myself, oh, that made me mad, 3-4 other things happen during the day.
Power of the tongue.
Cause I literally I've tested this with myself before, right? So like something happened during the day, I'm like, dang, like that really made me upset or that really made me mad. And now I'm just going through the day doing regular stuff and three other things that happened. And I'm like, how did all this other stuff happen? And I like already something happened to me today. So now I'm even more mad. But then I had a situation where something happened and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna let that make me upset. I'm not gonna let that make me mad. I'm gonna let that take over my emotions. And the rest of the day was a good day. Because I said to myself, I'm not going to allow these negative thoughts, these negative emotions to make me upset for the rest of my day.
Yep.
So that's definitely something that I used to struggle a lot with, but I definitely feel like I've progressed so much more with how much more intimate I've gotten with God, because now I can think of his word and think of the things that he's done for me and reassure myself that, hey, that's just one bad thing. That doesn't mean your whole day is bad. It doesn't mean your whole week was bad. There's one bad thing that happened and we're not going to turn it into a negative thing. We're going to turn it into something positive.
Yep.
So that's what I have to say about that.
That's a wonderful answer, and that's a great testimony. Like you see what I'm saying? I've seen that where I'm like, okay, even with me, like what happens with me is when I have a negative thought, I tend to like not talk for the rest of the day. Like, okay, I ain't gonna say it made me mad, but I'm just be like, you see what I'm saying? I'm not gonna have that energy. I'm not gonna have any more joy of the day, right? So I may not be mad, but I'm absent of joy, which is almost the same thing, right? So does anybody else want to answer a question or have anything that they want to share? Go ahead, Pastor Sam.
Hey, what's up, Daniel? What's up, everybody? I wanted to piggyback off of what Karen had just said. I agree 100% with her point of view and her perspective. I'd probably just add this a little bit to it. I don't know if it's negative energy that becomes the root of or the influence of my decision making and things of that nature. But what I would say is it's a fruit from the root. I think the root is ultimately my decision to think about it. The Bible says, whatsoever man thinketh in his heart, so is he.
Okay.
I think she said, when I think about a bad comment made, it festers, and then I get more mad and more mad and more mad and more mad, and so on and so forth. And so I think it's the thought or the mind's ability to dwell on certain things that influences the energy or the negativity or positivity that I have in my day. For example, I think one study shows that for one negative word, I need 10 additional positive words to shift and impact my mindset, to take me from a place of negativity to a place of positivity. So if that's true, that study is true, then I have to put my mind on something positive 10 times more than that one negative point of view. For example, if someone said I was ugly, I've put my mind in the place of saying, I'm not ugly, right? I'm actually pretty handsome or pretty or however you think about it. You know what I'm saying? And then receive that same additional positive feedback because it's something within my mind. One philosopher says it like this, that when you take the mind and the body to the lowest core, I think Descartes says it in his substance dualism platform. He says the mind is a thinking, it's logical, it thinks, the body's emotional. So it's easy for my body to be influenced because we're all emotional people. It's hard to make a decision to choose to do something when you see the reverse from an impact of a person's word or action or deed, right? So if a person steps on my foot and doesn't say sorry, I'm pissed off. If a person cusses me out, immediately I want to cuss them back out too, because I'm emotional. However, if I begin to think and look at things from a logical standpoint or from a natural standpoint, I don't have to succumb to your energy. I can actually change the atmosphere of a room because I've decided to be the change, or I've decided to put my energy somewhere else. Okay. I can if I want to, because that's a fruit or a side effect of how I think, or a side effect of a decision that I could potentially make. But if I decide to say, you know what, I'm not going to do that, I'm going to choose better, then I can automatically be an atmosphere changer and change the course of my day.
Okay. So are you saying that basically you have to basically purify your thoughts? You have to go through a purification process of your thoughts before you even work on your emotional instability?
I think that I think personally, I think all things in life are choices.
Okay.
And I think that to give off negative energy, I decided to give it off. And so I can change the entire game
by your decision,
by not focusing my mind on what bad takes place. It's like an example like this. I don't have to look at the glass half empty. It's a choice if I do. But I can also choose to look at the glass half full.
It's a choice.
If I look at it half full, it means that I can always put more into it to make it full, right? It means that there's something that's still there. If I look at it like a glass half empty, it means I'm getting ready to miss out on something. Then it makes me feel desperate. Oh, I need something else to drink. If I look at the glass half full, my emotions can be more calm and I can decide to do or pivot or, whatever else I'm going to do, right? It's just the way that you look at things. It's your outlook on life and things like that.
Okay. Yeah, I like that perspective. Okay. So what you got to say, Misha? What you want to answer some questions or say what you had to say?
I was going to add to his point about being an energy shifter in the room. I often feel like that I am that for a lot of places. I never really put it in those words, but a lot of times we become empaths. So we take on the energy that we walk into. So if we walk into a room of people that are hurt, all of a sudden I'm taking on the hurt that's in the room, but I was fine before I walked in here. Like, this hurt has nothing to do with me. So knowing how to be that change and use that positive energy that we often all have, but something in that day takes us off, or we could be the change that somebody needs to see in the day. Especially in these times where the world is just so crazy or everybody's going through something. So a smile or just a, hey, how you doing can go a long way.
Yep. And to that point, actually, my mom and my sister are very great at that. Like, even if the room is depressed, they coming in smiling, all happy. You see what I'm saying? That's why my sister's so great at customer service. She don't care if you look down, she gonna say, hey, how you doing? You see what I'm saying? And you look up, like, why you got so much energy? That's because he's trying to shift the energy that you came in with. And I love, you see what I'm saying? I love that fact about people that are empaths, because with that power, it doesn't matter where you go. That negative energy is never going to be able to affect you negatively, right? Anybody else want to answer a question? Have anything that they want to say, comment, or share on?
I'll just say real fast to what you just said. I found for myself that it's way easier to do that for other people than to do for myself. And I think because I kind of run from doing it for myself, that's why I do it so much for other people. So like even in situations where it might just be me and one other person, I see the other person is down. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I could lift their spirits. If I try and it doesn't really work or whatever, then I'm like, okay, well, maybe I could do something else or do this or whatever, right? But then when it happens to myself, I'm like, dang, I'm sad. Dang, I was sad yesterday too. Dang, it's a lot of stuff going on in my life right now that's really making me upset. And I'm like, to myself, sometimes I guess you could say I'm a little hard on myself too, because I'm like, I was at work yesterday and I made about 4 people smile that was upset. Now I'm upset and I can't even make myself smile. But what I realized is that I'm trying to pull from my own energy when I need to be pulling on the energy from God.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make my own self happy. I'm like, you didn't think about none of the things that God did for you today.
Ooh.
You didn't think about none of the things that God blessed you with today.
Okay.
So now I'm in a position where I'm like, okay, well, if I feel like I'm a little upset, nope, done with that. Thank you, God, for waking me up this morning. I thank you for allowing me to have a job in this season. I thank you for allowing me to be who I am in this season. So that's definitely something that I've like had to work on with myself.
And see, now that's the importance of prayer and worship. Because if I wouldn't say necessarily forget, but if you don't worship God, what else do you have to think about? If you're not praising God throughout the day, what else are you thinking about? That's a question we all have to ask ourselves. If I'm not praising God, what am I thinking about? What is going to occupy my head? What is going to occupy my thoughts in that space if I'm not praising and worshiping God? You said as soon as you ain't even thank God for waking you up this morning, but you wondering why you mad. You see what I'm saying? So, I love that perspective. And I'm going to read what my auntie had put in the chat. I'm pretty sure she's probably busy and can't talk. So she said, a quote that I'm reminded of is, did you really have a bad day or a bad 5 minutes that you thought about all day? Yeah, that's powerful. That's powerful, because even for me, I know I can go back. I got you, Pastor Sam. Even for me, I know I can go back to the moment that my day turned bad. Even though the rest of the day might have been good, it was a moment. You know what I'm saying? That my day turned bad. And when you continue to think on that moment, the moment is all that matter throughout the whole day. And that ain't right. You ain't supposed to just think about one negative moment the whole day. Was you gonna comment or have anything to say about it, Pastor?
Yeah, man. I was going to add this to the discussion too, at least from a personal point of view. Something that I think changed my perspective, and that I'm literally happy all the time, with the exception of a few things. Like you step to my wife or my kid, right? Like I get a little upset, right? I get a little offended, I get a little fleshly. But I started looking at things biblically. God gives us the first commandment that says, "Don't have any god or idol stand before me."
Yep.
And then I started looking and dissecting all the other quote unquote sins that were in the Word of God, and they all led back to idolistic worship, because they became something that we put in the place of God. We put a small God, our frustration, our irritations, our horniness, our chemical imbalances emotionally. We put all those things in front of God. We need those small G's greater than the big G.
Yeah.
And so I looked at even my decisions. If I decide to succumb to something that I'm normally not, or allow something keep me in bondage, I've low-key made that an idol. I've made my anger my idol, because I'm saying my anger is bigger than God.
Yep.
Or when I have a case that can't help it, I've made that issue greater than I've made my sickness. If I was ever sick,
Yeah.
I've made that greater than my God. And I think the thing that helped put me in a submissive nature to the Lord was more so looking at, is this thing greater than the God I say I believe in? If I say God is all powerful, he's all knowing, he's all wise, just because I'm in the middle of this conflict of interest, does it mean that he's not able to fix this or do what the Bible says and work this thing out for my good? If that's not the case, I don't have to sweat this small thing. I can pivot it and go another way. And that's why I think for me, when I make decisions, I don't feel pressured. I don't feel as much anxiety because I've been able to focus on the thing that I say is greater than everything.
Okay. And to add to what you were saying is just the fact that it's crazy that we know this before the reaction comes, and we still have to find our way back to the truth, even though we knew the truth before anything of that nature even came. Go ahead, Misha.
I wanted to answer the question about divine motivation. And having that. So I feel like I had divine motivation when things were going according to my plans. So things that I wanted to do. So I was in nursing school and I failed a class. So I had to sit out for a semester. So when things were good, I was motivated. When I felt like my world fell apart, I didn't know what to do because I had nowhere to turn because I didn't plan for falling apart.
Whoa.
So I had no choice but to be like, okay, God, I have to yearn for your presence because I don't know where to turn. I was begging God to show me where to go because I was like, I can't figure this out on my own. And if I had stayed motivated on his terms long before that moment came, I would have never been so lost and so discouraged and so broken because my plans were bigger than the plans God has for me. So now that I have to sit back and be like, okay, God, wherever you are taking me. And even in this moment, he's opening up these doors for me that I didn't know I wanted or I didn't know that I needed. And now I can sit back and be like, okay, God, I see where you're taking me. So let me sit back and let you be the driver and I'll be the passenger.
Yep. I love that perspective. And what I heard as far as my perspective of what you were saying is when we agree with the plan that God has for us, it's all good. But when we disagree, it's all bad. God said, you're going to have to go through this storm, even though everything was good. And we disagree. Do we really have to go through the storm? Well, I don't know what to do next. That's because you sound saying we pulled ourselves out of agreement, or what we talked about this morning on this prayer call, out of covenant with God. We broke the covenant with God about our trust with him. And now we're in a place where we don't even know what's going on because we don't agree with the plans that God has for us, because we weren't even thinking or weren't even trusting him enough to take us through that storm, even though it popped up out of nowhere. Yeah, I love that. And I'm gonna answer the question about divine motivation. So the question is, I'm gonna let you go next, Brody. The question is, do you believe that you've ever had divine motivation continuously and not just for a short period of time? For me, I feel like that's been my biggest problem. Having divine motivation continuously, having that divine motivation regardless of what happened. I know I'm the type of person that I'm a slump guy. So I may have a good 2 or 3 months. Boom, something hit and it usually hit me hard. And I'd be like, man, I take me a week off. I take me a few days off. I take me a weekend off. And then I look and be like, man, I wasted so much time. I put my energy in something else and I didn't even rely on God's energy to pull me out of that slump. And what's even crazy is my sister can attest to this. We actually kind of went through this, I think this past summer. Summer of 2020, where we was both kind of going through something. And we was talking every day, talking about God every day. And then out of nowhere, we wasn't hitting each other up for like 3 or 4 months. 3 or 4 days. And the crazy thing about it is, because that is probably the strong tie that I have in my life right now. I grew up with my sister. We're only 18 months apart. We felt the same thing. So now we both didn't have divine energy. How many times do we walk through our life and our energy is pulling family members down? Our energy is pulling coworkers down. Our energy is pulling our kids down. That you see what I'm saying? That means something to me, because without that continuous divine motivation, you pull things because of your soul ties. So now your relationship with somebody is able to pull their energy down, even though they may not even know what's going on. That is and honestly, this is a whole nother subject about soul ties, but that's literally why I put so much emphasis on soul ties, because I'm like, man, I can't even be around somebody that's going through a negative energy phase and pulling mine down every time I walk in. Because the difference between being an energy shifter is, if all they do is sit in that, then every time you go in, you gotta pick the room up every single time, and eventually you start getting slower trying to pick the room up. Now it's getting heavy trying to pick the room up. Now you're like, God, why am I even coming over here? God, why am I even putting myself in this position? It's getting even more, even with your divine motivation, it's getting harder to lift the room up, right? So that for me, I've always had a problem with continuous divine motivation, and that's something that I'm trying to work on. At that moment that I want to feel like I could take a break. Well, I've been doing good for a couple months. I'm gonna take me a look. No, the break gonna do much more damage than, you see what I'm saying, than what you think. Anybody else want to share anything? Want to have a comment? Anything that they want to answer a question or anything? Caleb, did you want to go?
I mean, it wasn't really too much, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just, because I'm in Walmart right now, you know what I'm saying? I'm tapping in at Walmart, you know what I'm saying? I'm getting the whole experience as walking with me, you know what I'm saying? I'm walking with it. But, you know, as I'm here, you know what I mean? I'm listening to the thing, and it's like, it's actually a situation right now that just went on, you know what I mean? It could have actually shifted my whole energy. And I'm like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, literally as we were speaking, because I'm in line in Walmart. It's like, it's crazy. It's fat right now, man. It's super fat. I got to go somewhere, you know what I'm saying, after. And I said, man, I'm the last man in line. You know what I mean? There's white people in front of me and all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? He's like, you know what I'm saying? I can't take anymore. The line's closed. I'm like, I'm the last guy. You know what I mean? You can't. So it's just divine energy. You just have to like possess it. You know what I mean? You just have to have it. You know, in order to be able to just walk away from situations and stuff like that, and not, you know what I'm saying, not dabble in more into it. You know what I'm saying? I just had to calm down, take a step back. You know what I mean? Because it was really, you know what I'm saying, a situation where I could have been like, well, why can't you take me? Or why can't you know what I'm saying? Why can't you do this? Why can't you, you know, see Walmart, you know what I'm saying? But I have to take a step back. Like, this is calm. You know what I'm saying? God is he's gonna help me. You know what I'm saying? Because as I walked off, you know what I mean, the other lines got slimmer. You know what I mean? I walked up, and then I'm already here, bro. Like, I can show y'all Walmart right
That's big.
now. And I just left dude 5 seconds ago. I'm already checking out. You know what I mean? I left me 5 minutes to get upset. I'm like, dude, it's fat lines, it's crazy. You know what I mean? But it's just the power to energy that I have to possess, that you got to possess. You know what I mean? So it's real. You know what I mean? This stuff's real. This stuff's real. You know, you got to have it for sure. But that's all I have to say on that, man. Just, you feel me? Just have to possess it, man. You have to have that energy. Ask God to keep, you know what I'm saying, keep strengthening you with it. You know, because he's the strength for sure. So he's the one that's going to, you know what I'm saying, make sure everything's cool. Yeah, that's that on that, man. No. I'm just like, I had me a little instance right here, right now.
Yeah, bro. I love that perspective, because every time that you said divine energy and possess, it sounded like you was wielding a weapon that God has already given us. He's given us a weapon of divine energy. And as soon as you get into that moment, if you don't wield it, then you'll be defenseless when the devil comes in. So, right, you have to pick up that sword of divine energy when you get in those situations, so that you can cut right through what the enemy is trying to do to you. And that's literally what I got out of what you were saying. And that was powerful to me, bro. Okay. Kiera had put something in the chat. I'm gonna say it out loud. My mic is messing up, but I have a question. What do you do when your energy is low? Like, for a long time. I've been feeling like that way for a minute now. Okay, so back to what I was saying earlier. Even from you typing this, it sounds like you're exhausted. It sounds like you're exhausted, right? So for me, I know when I'm exhausted, that's the time I need to be on my knees. That's the time I need to be in crying in worship, crying in you see what I'm saying, crying in praise. And honestly, I may not have the best answer for you, but for me, it's definitely a different level of praise and worship. Lord, you gotta pick this energy up. Lord, I love you so much that you have no choice but to put joy into my heart. I love you so much that you have no choice but to put peace in my heart. You have no choice but to pick up my energy. So that's what I have to say about that. But go ahead, Misha.
to Dan's point, you have to pick up those weapons of praise and really put it in the atmosphere. But you also have to look at who you're hanging around. What energy are you involving yourself with that's making you feel like that? Because as people, like I said, we pick up other people's energy. But if you walk into a room and every time you have to be the one to shift the energy, at some point you're gonna get tired of doing that.
It's getting heavy.
And you just have to see, like, okay, this is not for me. Like, we was cool. It was cool when we was doing X, Y, and Z. And now I'm trying to go to the next level of greatness in my life. And it's just not gonna work for me anymore. And it's okay to do that, but it's hard. But when you on that journey to be better, you walk it alone a lot of the time. Or you get in circles like this and you are with people that are walking this journey with you and understand the path that you're on. So a lot of times when your energy is
it's messing
oh,
up.
it's a shift.
Okay, yeah, I think we heard. I'm gonna let Karen go next, but what I was gonna say is I forgot what I was gonna say, but go ahead, Mama. I think Karen lowered her hand. Go ahead, Mama.
Oh, I was just gonna say, the wonderful thing about the age group that's on here is some of us have already learned some of these things, and some of us haven't. Y'all walking in it early, which is wonderful and amazing. But something that I learned along the way is making sure you surround yourself with people that you're trying to get on their level, not people that the level that you are, that they up under you, because they're gonna drag you down, especially if they not trying. It's a difference between me being around a whole bunch of spiritual people and then me being around people who look to me to make their spiritual journey easy.
That's true.
And when you're around, it's Kiara, I think is your name. It feels like you need to shift away from where you are. Because when you're on here, I could hear it. I could feel it.
Yeah, that's why
I've heard it before. So when you just said it, I'm saying, okay, now she see it. So now that you see it, it's time to make those adjustments. And it's okay. Hey, it's okay to walk away. It's okay to step down, step back. It's okay to value where you are now to get yourself together so that you can go back out and be that guy and the one to Dan mentioned that I am, go in the room and try to lighten up the room. And that's true. But as Karen said, it gets exhausting because I can't always be the one lighting everybody up. You know what I'm saying? And so learning that it comes with time, it comes with the ups and the downs, but you got it. You just got to figure out who that is that's sucking all your energy away. Who or what? Because sometimes it don't be a person. Sometimes it be something right in your room.
That's true.
Right in your car, right in your area, right in your where it work. It's something. And once you get past that, that's what you need to be praying for. What is it that's sucking up my energy, making me low? What is it that's not allowing me to see what I need to see to get past this part?
No, that's a great point, Mama. And I have forgot what I was gonna say before that, but what I was saying is it's okay to change your relationship with people that's in your life. A lot of the times, people make it seem like it's not okay to change. I had to tell someone, it's probably last year, that every time I was going to their house, I feel like I was being drained. They were placing all their burdens on me and expecting me to have an answer. But when I was giving them answers, when I was giving them a piece of me or being able to provide counsel, it seemed like they was ignoring all of it. So I'm like, I'm coming here getting drained, and it's also for no reason. Matter of fact, we can't be friends anymore. We can be associates. That's okay. No matter how they feel about it, no matter how offended they get by it, you have to protect yourself before you know what I'm saying, before you be worried about trying to help somebody else. Right. So that's kind of what I was gonna say. But go ahead, Karen. Go ahead, Karen.
What I was gonna say is really what Mama ended off with, and it was just the fact that there is things in our lives that drain our energy that aren't just people, and so we have to kind of really honestly just step back and reevaluate the way that we're going about things in our life, because you could literally just have, so like even just on the topic of energy, right? So like you could be, like have good energy all the time, but it's like maybe a certain thing that you purposely say, oh, I'm not gonna give no good energy to that.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's gonna be holding you down and dragging you back.
Ooh, social media. Ooh, okay.
And definitely, Misha, social media is a big one, because we get on social media and we scroll around and we think we're just reading stuff. But that stuff, you sit and dwell on that. You sit and dwell on some of the stuff you see, and it changes your mood, it changes your energy. So now you in a situation where you feeling sad and you feeling upset, and you like, I don't even know why I'm upset. But it's because you saw this tweet that said, oh, you gonna be lonely on Valentine's Day. Now you in a place where you upset because you ain't been with nobody for a long time, and now you think about all that. Well, what's wrong with me? Why I don't have nobody for Valentine's Day? So then you start to dig into your insecurities.
Okay.
But you really have to kill all that from the jump. When you first seen that tweet, you said, well, it don't matter because I ain't never lonely. I always got God.
Keep going through.
You got to keep reminding yourself of who God is to you. And that's definitely something that I've really had to do for myself, because I know God is real. I've always, known God, but definitely in the seasons in my life that I'm in now and that I just came out of, I was definitely in situations where it was like, I guess you could say, because of what I was going through, I decreased God's value to me.
Ooh, that's big.
I felt like I was going through something, so I was like, right now, I don't have time to deal with nothing else but what I'm going through.
Oh,
wow.
But how selfish is that?
Wow.
To a God who loves me regardless of what I do.
Wow.
And that's definitely something that I've had to work on myself, because I'm like, you got in a position where you sitting here, you're literally only thinking about yourself. Not once did you call on God. Not once did you say, God, I thank you. Not once did you say, God, can you help me? You just said, oh, I'm going through this. So that's all you think about is what you're going through. And that's definitely something that plagues me, because like I said earlier to you guys, I'm a very emotional person. So once I get emotional, it's hard for me to get unemotional. But the only way I can get unemotional is when I praise God. Yep. I thank God. I read his word. I still get emotional because I'm crying about how good he is to me. Yep. But it's not those same negative emotions I was feeling before. Now it's positive emotions. It's love, joy, peace of mind.
And we need to stop believing that everything is so instant.
Yeah.
Practice makes perfect don't just mean sports. It just don't just mean school. It means your spiritual life. Like, you can't just assume that because you had a good prayer day today that tomorrow is gonna be perfect. You got to still work at it every day.
I do that. I definitely do that, where I'll be like, man, I didn't pray pretty good today, and then you think that's good enough for the week. Like, it ain't good enough for the week. So we come to another point where the Zoom is about to end. But like I said, if y'all want to continue the conversation, we can hop right back on. Just by a show of hands, if y'all want to get back on, raise your hands. If not, that's okay. That's cool. We can stop at this point. It's all up to y'all. So say something or put something in the chat if y'all want to continue the conversation. But like I said, that's completely on y'all. Okay. All right. Well, one hand is enough. Oh, three hands is enough for me to get back on the call. Okay. All right. So it's like exercising, building the muscle. It takes time and practice. Yep. Building. Building. What like T Tammy said too, you sometimes you outgrow these people that you're surrounding. You know what I'm saying, that you're surrounded by. Yep. I got work, but yeah, thank you all for today. No problem. This is the type of space that I like to create for people, because everybody